In this video, I'm going to show you how to get started with using Adobe Illustrator with some of the basic tools. You can start with clicking on the Adobe Illustrator app, and you can click New Document or New. And in this panel, you can select the size of your artboard that you want. I'm keeping mine 8.5 by 11, which is a normal printer page size. You can also change the setting for how it is measured as well. And you can change the orientation. I'm keeping mine vertical. And I'm going to have two artboards. That just is basically like 2 pages that you can work with. And I'm keeping my color to CMYK. It's more like a print setting as opposed to RGB, which would be more of a web-based image. Click Create, and you have your images up here, your artboards. I'm going to click Command plus, which will zoom me in so that you can see what I'll be working on this artboard. I'm going to start showing you how to use Selection Tool, which is the shortcut is V, the Direct Selection Tool, which is A, and the Pen Tool. To start, let's click the Pen Tool. And if you hover and click, you'll see that there are some subcategories as well of tools, and we'll use those also. Start with the Pen Tool, and you can click and let go. And you'll notice you have a point or a square on your artboard, and that is called an anchor point. Click and let go again, and you'll have another anchor point, and it connected the path in between. And this line that moves around as I move my mouse is just it's called a rubber band. It's just to give you an idea of what it will look like when you click down. I'll work on clicking a shape. And if you click and hold as you drag your mouse, you'll notice that you get something like this. It creates a curve. So you can create curves. If you click and let go, it will be a point again. Click and drag while you're holding down, and that will be a point. Connect your shape, whatever shape it is, and you have a complete shape. So with the pen tool, you can create straight edges, or you can create the curves by clicking, holding, and dragging. The next tool I want you to use is the Selection Tool, which is shortcut V. It is a unfilled arrow. V, you'll notice it creates a box around your shape. The Selection Tool is just to move around the shape as is. You can't really change much about it, but you can drag it down from the side and it will skew the shape, or you can drag it from the corner and again it skews the shape unless you hold down Shift while you are dragging. It holds the proportions if you hold down Shift as you are dragging the corners. If you do something that you don't like, let's say I squished it like this and I don't want it like that, press Command Z and that will take you back a step. Or Edit Undo. That will do the same thing. The Direct Select tool is slightly different because it allows you to edit the shape that you just drew a little bit more intricately. If you click that or you use the shortcut A on your keyboard, you'll see a lot more points and detail on what you have drawn. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. What you can do is click and drag on the anchor point. Click to select the one anchor point, and then click to drag. You can actually move anchor points around to change the shape of what you already have drawn. You can also convert handles that are sharp edges, or the anchor points, into curved instead of sharp angles by clicking the Convert button. I can click on my anchor point and convert it to the smooth edge. These are called handles. and you can use your direct select tool and drag them to alter the shape of the curve as well. You'll notice that the anchor point does not move, but you can alter that. I can also use this and move this around. See if I can add handles on there. So that is how you can change the shape of what you have drawn by moving your anchor points using the direct select tool. You can also add or remove anchor points using your pen tool. If you go to add anchor point tool or a plus, you can add sections. If you want a piece to come out of this top part, you can hold down the plus and click on the path, and then you'll see that you have some anchor points you can work with here. I actually want to convert those to sharp edges so you can see that I added those in. If I want to add more anchor points, hold down plus again, click, click, and then I can edit those by going back to my pen tool. Sorry, my A, which would be direct select, and I can move those. If you are in your pen tool, you can go down to the anchor point tool or use Shift C, and that will switch you over to that. And this is unique because you'll see that little curved line on your screen when you hover over one of the paths. And if you click, you can change the curve of what you have drawn. If you need to adjust curves more precisely, you can click on those. You can also click on the anchor point and you can adjust it as well. If I have a sharp corner, I can click on it and drag it into a curve or back to a point. I can also click on one side of the anchor point. Let's see. There we go. What you can do is click and drag so you have the handles coming out. If you let go and click again, you'll see that one handle stays still and one handle moves. So you can alter that way as well. And you can have fun playing around with that, adjusting the shapes that you need. If you have too many anchor points, you can delete anchor points by pressing the minus key to switch over to that tool. You'll see the little minus next to your pen tool, and you can click and delete things. If things are getting too busy, just hover over, that's weird, hover over the anchor point, and you can delete some things happening here. This kind of looks like a bird. Ooh, I like that, Command Z, I like that shape there. So that will delete the anchor points. That covers all of these tools. There is another tool that's helpful, which is the pen tool, which is the pencil tool, and that is under the shaper tool. You might be able to see it under these tools. The pencil tool is similar to the pen tool where you are drawing paths and anchor points, but it is more precise. You might think that's a good thing. However, sometimes with the pencil tool, you get too many anchor points. So if I click over here and draw something, I can click and drag and draw. You'll see it looks pretty busy, but not too bad. If I get jagged lines like this, it follows that line. You can also use the smooth button to drag over the design and it will kind of smooth it out for you. That did it a little bit. You can also change the settings of the precision on the pencil tool as well. If your pencil tool looks too jagged and too precise, what you can do is double click on the pencil tool and drag down the smoothness or raise it up. If your pencil tool looks like it's really precise, it might be more in the accurate field, And you'll see the difference if I take the pencil tool and I draw over here. You have a few more anchor points. However, it still looks pretty precise. Let's see if I can change that. Have it down here for the accuracy. See if that looks different. So you can see here we've got a lot more anchor points in the pencil tool. It can make your drawing a little bit more messy. So that's why I suggest using the pen tool. However, the pencil tool is helpful as well for drawing more precise lines. And if you do draw something like that, what you can do is edit the smoothness. If I go up to smooth, when I double click the pencil tool, oh, I might have to smooth it actually. I'm going to go to the smooth tool and just drag over this, and it will smooth out some of my lines. See what happens. So it took out some anchor points. It made it a little bit more smoothly. So if you want to do more freehanding, setting the smoothness by double clicking to more smooth is helpful as well. The next thing I want to show you is how to change the color of your shapes. And you can do that using the selection tool or shortcut V, and you can click on your shape. Down on the bottom of the toolbar on the left, you'll see that there is a box and then a solid square as well. And the box here is the stroke. If you double click on the stroke, you can edit the color, which is the outline following the path of your shape. And if you go to Adobe Color and drag around, play around with selecting different colors, you can choose a color that you want very precisely. Copy the code for it down here, Command C. Go back to Illustrator and you can paste it, Command V, back in there, and it changes the color of my stroke. You can also you can swap the stroke with the fill color by clicking the swap button, and it changes. Now I have a white stroke and I have a colored fill button. So you can flip back and forth. If I want to have the blue fill with a black line, I can adjust that and make it how I want. Or you don't have to have a stroke. I can go up here, right here, and say none, and that creates no outline. It just is filled in. So that is how to use the color and change that on your shapes. The last thing I want to show you how to use is the shape tool, because you might say, well, how do I draw a perfect square, or how do I draw a perfect circle? Don't do that with the pen tool. Instead, use the shape tool. Rectangle might be the one that you see. It's over here. If you click and hold, you'll see that you have different tools you can choose from. I'll start with the rectangle, but same with the circle. Rectangle, you can click and drag to make any size rectangle you want. Or you can click in one place and lift up, and you can make it the exact dimensions that you'd like. If you're trying to make it the golden ratio, you can edit it right there. I think that's 1 by 1 point, was it 6.8? I don't remember. So you can create a shape that is the golden ratio. With the circles, you can also draw a circle or an oval. If you want to draw a perfect circle or a perfect square, you should hold down Shift. That was not Shift, sorry, that was S. You should hold down Shift. If you hold down Shift, it keeps it the same width and height. That is the same with the square. I can also click and you'll notice that it was indeed a perfect circle. I can change that if I'd like to. If I need a bigger circle, I can change it. Now it's huge. Some people ask me, well, how do I draw a triangle? A triangle is a polygon. What you can do is click the polygon shape, click and let go on your artboard, and you can select how many sides you want. So you can make a polygon that has the 14 sides if you want. I'll make 3 sides to make the triangle. Now I have a nice triangle there. And just like with the pen tool, with anchors and paths, you can use your direct select tool. You can start with basic shapes and you can actually click the direct select tool, and now I can edit individual lines on the shape that I drew. It's just like the pen tool. You've got anchor points and paths that you can change and adjust. If I want to make this a curve, I can click on it and click curve. And now I definitely don't have a triangle anymore, and I can adjust that. I can add anchor points by holding down the plus. So you can start with basic shapes. You don't have to draw everything from scratch. I'll go to my A, which is direct select, and I can now drag this out to make an adjusted triangle. Enjoy experimenting with Illustrator. Make sure you focus on using the pen tool with all the tools underneath, the selection tool, and the direct selection tool, and then you can play around with your stroke and fill to make the colors that you want as well. Thanks for watching.